All right, if you have a block or two, we're gonna use them today. And if you don't, if you have maybe like a book nearby, just a small book, you could use that. And if you don't, you can just do everything we're gonna do without anything. But it's kind of nice to have a little bit of weight and something to hold on to for some of the stuff we're gonna do today. So we're gonna start on your backs with whatever prop you have. I'm just gonna say block, but if you have something else, feel free to use it. You're just gonna lay on your back and take your block and just rest it on top of your belly. And just take a moment to get settled and find that place where the block feels like it's sort of balanced right there on your belly. And just notice what it feels like to have any weight on your belly. It might feel a little uncomfortable if you're not used to it. And as always, if you don't like it, you can just lose your prop. But just notice that gentle pressure that your block provides. Maybe even just notice that little bit of instability of the block as you start to breathe. And just feel the rise and fall of the belly and notice how that block just moves up and down. And today's class is going to be about just really bringing awareness to your body on your mat. Sometimes we just get into the routine and the flow and we kind of stop paying attention to what's going on. So we'll just use the props today to help facilitate this awareness and this presence. So just take a couple more breaths right here, noticing that block. Then you can just take that block off to the side. Just take a couple more breaths, keeping your focus on the belly, but just noticing the difference now that there's no weight resting there. And then just reach your arms up by your ears. Give yourself a big stretch. And just linger there. Feel the length of the body as you stretch from fingertips to toes. And then just hug your knees in towards your chest. Take some gentle rocks side to side. Just bringing awareness to your back as you rock, just feeling that weight shift through the center and over to the side. And then just come to stillness. Keep the right knee hugged in and extend the left leg onto the mat. This is something we do all the time, so just bring awareness to sensations in your body. It's very easy to just tune out here. So maybe there's a sensation that grabs your attention. And if it's a sensation of tightness, maybe you use your breath to just help that soften. And then bend your left knee, bring the sole of the left foot to the mat. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And if you want, hug that left thigh in for thread the needle. Again, just bringing awareness to sensation with your legs in this shape. And then just unwind the legs and hug the knees towards the chest. Just pause with both knees hugged in. And then keep the left knee hugged in. Extend the right leg onto the mat. Again, bringing awareness to sensations. So maybe they're the same on this side, or maybe they feel different. Just keeping your attention on the experience that you're having right here, right now. And then bend the right knee, sole of the foot to the mat. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh, and then hug that thigh towards the chest. Noticing what's talking to you here. And then just unwind the legs, hug the knees towards the chest. Keep the knees bent, drop the feet down to the mat, and walk your feet a little wider than your hips. Take your arms out to a T, and this movement we're going to start really small. So just start to take your knees gently to the right about a foot, so they're not going to go very far. And then bring the knees back through center and take them to the left about a foot. So really small movement to start. Starting to take the knees side to side, letting them be soft and loose, but really small, gentle movement here. And as you take that rock of the knees, start to bring awareness to the pelvis. Notice when the knees are pointing towards the ceiling, the pelvis is neutral, and then as they go to the side, the pelvis rocks to the side. And just feeling that gentle rock of the pelvis with the knees. And then maybe you even move up to the low mid-back and just notice that slight rotation that happens as you gently take your knees side to side. And maybe that feels good. Maybe you just want to stay there. Or maybe you start to take that movement, make it bigger, dropping the knees all the way to the right. And then back to center and all the way to the left. And as you do that, noticing again the pelvis, how you start to get more rotation as the knees drop. And even all the way up through the torso, there's more rotation. And then just bring the knees up through center and walk your feet hips distance apart. If you have a block, just reach for the block. Take it between the thighs. It can be on the low or medium setting. I kind of like medium just because it keeps my knees in line with my hips. And then take your arms down by your side. Just press into the feet and roll up into bridge. And then roll back down. So just start to take that movement up and down, in and out of bridge on your own with that slight pressing of the thighs into the block. So don't squeeze the block like you want to kill it. Just a nice little hug of that block, feeling the inner thighs engage as you do that. And then next time your hips are down, if you have the block, you can take it to the side. Just bring the soles of the feet together and take your knees out wide so your legs are in a butterfly shape. Just take a couple of breaths right here. It's not going to be super long. And then draw the knees towards one another, hug them towards the chest, and then make your way up into tabletop. And once you find your way there to hands and knees, just starting some cat-cow, just on your own. Inhale, find the length, and exhale, round. Again, we do this all the time, so really just bringing awareness to the movement, the way it feels in your spine. Maybe noticing that place as you transition between cat and cow, where you're in neutral and tabletop, just for a slight second before you transition. And after you take your next cat pose, just bring your spine to neutral, bring your big toes together, and just sit back into child's pose. Again, this is a pose we take all the time, but maybe you bring awareness to the points of contact with your mat. So the shins, the top of the feet, maybe your forehead, forearms, and hands. Keeping that focus on your sensations in your body. And then come back up to tabletop. If you have a block, just reach for that block and you're just gonna set it on your sacrum. So you're gonna try and keep that block from moving. Oh, if you have a denser block, that might start to get uncomfortable. So if it does, just remove it. And then very slowly, just extend your right leg out and take the ball of the foot to the mat, trying to keep that block from falling. And it might fall, that's okay. If it falls, just pick it back up. Keeping that right leg where it is, pop to the left fingertips and walk your left hand forward so your left arm is straight. Maybe you're good there. Maybe you start to lift the right foot, right foot, left hand, trying to keep that block from moving. Notice the unsteadiness as you try to maintain steadiness. And then lower everything back to tabletop. You may have to adjust everything just slightly to feel steady with that block. And then extend the left leg back, ball of the foot down, right hand forward onto the fingertips. Maybe lifting the left foot, right hand. Notice if you're holding your breath while you try and hold your body in this shape. And then lower everything down. If you have the block, you can take it to the side. Take a wiggle of your hips side to side. And then just come back to neutral. We'll do that again without the block. So just extend the right leg back, left hand forward. Maybe you imagine that block is still there as you lift everything up. Pause there for just a breath. And then lower everything down. Extend the left foot back, right fingertips forward. Maybe lift it up. Imagine that block is still there. Ooh, good. And then lower it to tabletop, wiggle your hips side to side. And then sit back into child's pose again. Just a couple breaths here. And then just make your way up into tabletop. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into your first down dog, and you just have some time to move here. Really just notice the movements you take, why you take them. Maybe it feels good to stretch the backs of the legs and find that nice length of the spine and the shape. And walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. And then just bring your hands to your hips, or you can even just take your arms by your side, whatever you prefer. And then just start to shift your weight front to back in your feet. So slowly take the weight towards the balls of the feet, the toes, and then back through center towards the heels. And this might not be very big movement, but just notice the feet, how maybe the heels lift if you go too far forward. Maybe the toes lift as you go back. Feel the legs working as you take this movement. And then maybe even you notice your torso kind of catching you as you go too far. And then start to move a little slower and smaller. See if you can find that equal weight between toes and heels. And then take that movement side to side, shifting to the right, back through center to the left. The same thing, noticing the feet, the legs, the torso. Maybe this even starts to feel a little bit like a dance as you sway side to side. And then make it smaller until you come back to center. So you're centered between toes and heels from side to side. Just extend your arms down so you're in mountain pose. Take an inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step straight to downward facing dog. And just hold there a couple breaths. And then just come forward into plank. Drop your knees to the mat. Lower all the way to your belly. Lift your head and your shoulders for an easy cobra. And then lower back down. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Press through tabletop to downward facing dog. Just notice, what do you feel with your body in this shape? Maybe there are certain sensations that talk louder to you than others. Can you listen to the more subtle sensations here? And then walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, draw your hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step to plank. Hold here for your inhale. Exhale, drop your knees lower to your belly. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, lower down, press through tabletop to downward facing dog. Maybe you bring your focus here back to your belly, remembering what the belly felt like in the very beginning where you had the block there. And then walk your feet forward to your hands. Forward fold front of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands down to heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step to plank. Inhale, drop your knees to the mat. And on your exhale, bend your elbows, take your forearms down to the mat. So elbows are under shoulders here. Once you have that, tuck the toes, lift the hips, come into dolphin. Feel the fingers spread nice and wide, press into all parts of the hands, and use that pressing to lift the hips gently up and back. And then drop your knees down to the mat. Bring the palms of the hands back to the mat. Your choice, down dog or child's pose. You have 5 breaths. You're in child's pose. Make your way back to down dog. And then walk your feet and your hands towards each other, forward fold at the center of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. And exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Then we're gonna come into a standing balance. You can be on the block or on your mat. So your choice. You also are at home, so if you wanna be close to a wall, you can find something to give you some steadiness. And then weight will be in your left foot. So if you're on the block, you're gonna step onto your left foot. Otherwise, if you're on the mat, just shift the weight into the left foot. And then lift your right foot up off the mat. So your hip bones are parallel, your legs are parallel, and just notice how your left foot starts to wiggle and shake on the unsteadiness of the block. If you have a foam block, if you have a cork block, it might not be as unsteady, you might have an advantage. And then if you want, you can start to loosely take your right leg front and back, like a little pendulum. And just notice how that changes the stability for you. If you feel unstable, the swing can be smaller, it can be slower. Notice how that left foot, ankle, and leg are really working to help keep you from falling over. And then if you're on the block, step off of it. Just place place both feet on the mat. Come into mountain pose for a moment and close your eyes. And just notice sensations in the right foot and the left foot and ankle. Do they feel different? And you can open your eyes and just change sides. So either stepping the right foot on the block or just leaning weight into that right foot. Hands to hips. Lift that left hip bone so the hip bones are parallel. And just take a moment to notice the right foot, ankle, and leg. And if you want, start to swing that left leg just gently forward and back. Again, you can take it whatever pace, whatever size movement feels comfortable for you. Maybe notice one leg is easier than the other for you. As I say that, I start falling all over the place. And then if you're on the block, you can step off of it. Just come back to mountain pose again. Ground through both feet. Maybe you close your eyes. And notice now, do the feet feel more similar? Or maybe you even still feel some differences in the feet. And then you can open your eyes if they're closed. You can just gently kick your block off to the side. So mountain pose wherever you are. On an inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale your way to down dog. You can flow through a vinyasa or just step yourself straight back. And then take your right leg up and back. Bring the foot between the hands, spin the back heel down and pause there with your hands on the mat. Oh. Keep both feet pressing down, draw the belly up and in, and take your time as you cartwheel your arms up to warrior two. So make the movement really purposeful. Good, you have just a couple breaths right here. Just feel the ease, having both feet down, that stability, that grounding. And then straighten the right leg. Start to hinge forward as you come into triangle pose. So that right hand can be on a block if you'd like. Notice how the legs and the feet feel in this pose, even the torso. What's the effort level that you feel here? And what does that do to your breath? And then really mindful movement, press into the feet, back up to warrior two. Take your time, there's no hurry. And then cartwheel your hands down, just step straight to downward facing dog. We'll go straight to the other side. So take the left leg up and back. Bring the foot between the hands, spin the back heel down, or press into the feet for a moment. Sorry, I almost forgot that part. And then mindfully come up to warrior two. Some of you were like, I remember we did that on the other side. Some of you were back into the routine like I was. Notice the effort here, notice the legs. And then straighten the left leg, start to reach forward as you hinge into your triangle pose. As you settle in, again, noticing the effort and the legs and the torso. Notice the quality of the breath with that effort. And And then press back up to your warrior two. As you transition, take your time, cartwheel your hands down. Step back to downward facing dog. You can hold in your down dog, or if you want, you can inhale for plank. Exhale to your belly. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale. Just take some breaths right here in down dog. I think I lost you guys, but we're in down dog. So if you're looking at me like, I don't know what's happening, there you go, sorry. It's a good thing I'm paying attention. All right, technology. Walk your feet and your hands towards each other. Forward fold at the center of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And then reach for a block if you have it. You can use your book if you have a book. And then turn to face the long edge of your mat, whatever is the easiest way to see me. I was just thinking whenever I'm back in person, I'm gonna start, it's still gonna be like frozen Zoom. It's like gonna be part of my psyche. All right, so you have the block in your right hand. Spin your right toes to the right, spin your left toes in a little bit, and then extend your right arm straight out in front of you. So you have some choices here. You can try and balance that block in the palm of your hand. So maybe you take it on the smallest side of the block, or maybe you take it to the longer side, which is probably a little easier. I think I'm gonna do that. And then once you have that, start to reach that right hand forward like you're gonna hinge into triangle pose, but you're just gonna hold right there. So it's like you're reaching that block out to someone and they're really far away from you, so you feel that extension of the spine. Feel the work in the feet and the legs, even the torso. Notice what's happening to your breath. And then come back upright. Keep the arm there. Take a little bend in your right knee and slowly walk your left foot to meet your right foot. Put weight into your right foot. Lift your left foot so you're balancing on your right leg. Right arm still in front of you, and that left foot just back behind you a little bit. Pause there. And then bring your left foot to meet your right foot, lower your arm, shake everything out. Oh, that's a lot of work. Take your feet out wide today, so I'm just getting strong. So feet are out wide, your toes to the left, your left toes to the left, right toes in, and extend your left arm out. Again, that block can be in the long setting or the small setting, just resting in the palm of the hand. Press into both feet, start to reach forward, and just pause. Notice if this side feels easier or harder. Again, noticing effort and legs and core all around the torso. Notice if you're holding the breath. That's my inclination here when it starts to get hard. And then bring the torso. Bend your left knee, baby step that right foot forward to meet the left. Put weight into the left foot as you lift your right foot. Come into that little balance. Kind of like you're a dancer, yeah? Little arabesque for my ex-dancers. I know Michelle's with me on the arabesque. Lower your right foot to meet your left foot. You can take that block off to the side, shake everything out, and then just come back to the front. Come to mountain pose. Reach your fingertips down, ground through both feet. Feel that beauty in the stability.
Apparently, Daddy's inside again.
Take an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, step to downward facing dog. And then come forward into plank. Just lower all the way down to your belly And bring your forearms forward for Sphinx pose. So elbows are under shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide. Bring awareness to your hands. They're not going to move, but feel like you could drag your hands to the back of the mat as you elongate the chest forward, and just feel that subtle extension you get in the spine. And then take a couple breaths. Just notice what it feels like to breathe in this shape. I find it to be a little challenging. So maybe you try and breathe into the sides of the rib cage. Maybe that helps you to get some expansion as you inhale and release as you exhale. And then just lower your head and shoulders to the mat. Draw the hands back by the rib cage. Press up to tabletop and wiggle your hips side to side. And then tuck your toes under, lift your hips, come back to down dog. We're just coming here to transition. So walk your feet and your hands towards each other again. Forward fold at the center of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. And then you can just take your arms by your side. We're gonna do one more balance pose. I'm sure you're starting to get a little tired, so you're welcome to do it on a block again, or if not, you're just gonna be on your mat. You can also find your wall again. So we'll start with the left foot on the block or the mat. Start to lift your right foot and hug your right knee towards the center of your chest. So I like hands to hips to start. And if you want, hands are gonna come to prayer. You can stay right here, this is work. Or you're gonna slowly take your time, hinge into a gentle warrior three. Take your torso forward and your right leg back. It doesn't have to be major. And then slowly lift the torso. Hug the right knee back towards the chest. We're gonna do that one more time. So take the torso forward, right leg back, a little gentle warrior three. And then bring the torso back upright, hug the right knee in. And then just gently step yourself off the block. Just like we did earlier, both feet to the mat. Maybe you close your eyes, just take a moment and notice. Notice the feet, notice the legs. Maybe even notice the outer hip. If you're like me, you're feeling that. And then softly open the eyes. Last little balance thing, second side, right foot onto the block or the mat. Left knee towards the chest. Maybe hands are on the hips, or maybe the hands come to the heart. And then nice and easy, start to take the torso forward, left leg back for that really gentle warrior three. And then start to lift the torso, hug that knee back in towards the chest. Don't rush it like I just did. One more time, torso forward, leg back. The slower you go, the more control you have. And then lift the torso, hug that left knee in towards the chest. Gently step off the block. You can take the block to the side. And then just come back to mountain pose at the front of your mat. Again, notice the feet and the legs. Just one breath here. And then inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, go straight to downward facing dog. When you get there, cross your right ankle behind your left ankle. So pinky toe edges of the feet are next to one another. And then unwind that, change sides, left ankle behind right. unwind that. Just drop your knees to the mat for a table. Come back to seated and bring the soles of the feet together, knees out wide. So Baddha Konasana here. Can't see me. We'll take a little bit of cat-cow. So take an inhale, lift the chest, maybe the gaze goes up. Exhale, curl and round. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, curl and round. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Inhale, lift. You can stay upright. Or exhale, just gently hinge forward. This might feel good after all that balance work on the outer hips. We just pause here. Just like we did in the very beginning, just notice sensations. What do you feel? Where do you feel it? Where's the quality of it? And then just lengthen the chest forward, come all the way up. Draw the knees together. Walk yourself to the front of the mat. If you don't have your block close, just make sure it's nearby. We'll use it in a little bit. And make your way onto your back. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Let's take a gentle rock side to side. Again, noticing the shift of the weight of the back. Keep the knees bent, drop the feet to the mat, walk them wider than the hips, arms to a T. Just like we did in the very beginning, just a gentle shift of the knees to the right about a foot and to the left. So just a gentle sway of the knees, again, noticing the back of the pelvis rocking. Maybe you notice a difference in this movement from the beginning, but it's a pretty small movement, so maybe not. And then again, if you want to take it bigger, start to take the knees all the way from side to side. Again, noticing the pelvis, the low back, the mid back, that rotation. Does that feel different? And then bring the knees to center and just hug them towards the chest. Cross the right thigh over the left thigh. So thighs are crossed right over left. Hands can go behind the thighs or to the outer edges of the feet. And then just unwind that, change sides, left thigh over right. And then unwind that, just keep the knees bent, drop the feet to the mat. And then if you have a block, you're going to take that block underneath your head on the medium setting. So you'll just place that edge of the block at the base of the skull. And pause here and just see if this is okay for you. So for some people, it doesn't feel good on the neck. If it doesn't, please, please, please just remove the block. Take your head down to the mat. Not worth any pain or discomfort to do a little bit of yoga. If you're good here, just bring awareness to the tip of your nose and start to make really gentle circles with the nose. And just notice how the weight shifts of the back of the head on the block. You start to feel that gentle circling motion, maybe from side to side at the base of the occiput, that kind of soft tissue there, you're rocking around on it. And then take those circles the other way. Just really small, gentle movements. And then just come back to neutral with the head. Be still. And then last thing here on the block, if you want, you can shake your head gently no. So turn your nose to the right. Maybe you rock on to the right side of the base of the skull, and then back to center and take it to the left. So just a gentle, gentle turn of the head side to side. You're giving yourself this tiny little massage. And then just bring your head back to neutral, pause there. And then ever so gently use one hand to remove the block, take the block to the side, lower the head down, and just pause with the head resting on the mat. And then maybe you take that same little turn side to side here if it feels good. And then bring the head to center, hug the knees towards the chest. Take the arms to a T and just drop the legs to the right for a twist. And then draw the knees through center, take them to the other side. And then draw the knees back to center, hug them in, or maybe come into happy baby. And then if you're in happy baby, hug the knees in, give yourself a final hug. And then just release and come into your Shavasana, wherever you would like to be. Start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Circle your ankles and wrists. Reach your arms by your ears, nice big stretch. And roll off to one side, pause on your side with your eyes closed. I saw this yesterday and thought it was important for all of us to think about. It says, be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people. I think it's so easy right now to get caught up in the news and to see all the things that seem so negative in the world, but I continue to look at the people around me who are beautiful and doing good things for other people. And it is a reminder that there is still good in the world. Press into your top hand, make your way up to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed, hands at the heart. I'm just going to read that one more time. Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people. Take that with you out into the rest of your day. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.